Dear and beloved students, today we are discussing a very interesting topic, the most contemporary of issues of 21st century, that is the climate change. Climate change, very interesting. In the first class of the basics of climate change, we discuss on definitions of climate change and climate variability. The second thing we discuss in this class are global processes, causes and effects of climate change with small subheadings like human activities, climate change processes, effects of climate change, that is disasters. This is for today's class. Before I actually start the climate change basics 1, I would like to impress upon you with a small quote from Swami Vivekananda. It may be that I shall find it good to get outside my body, to cast it off like a worn out garment, but I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is the one with God. Wonderful. Now, so let's go to the class. Climate change. Why? Why it is significant in the 21st century? One of the major challenges the humankind facing is to provide equitable standard of living. However, climate change is threatening the humanity and human ability to meet the food security. Therefore, the science of climate change and variability and their likely impacts on agriculture assumed significance. Now, let us try to understand the definitions of climate change and climate variability. Climate change is defined as a change in the state of the climate that persists for a decade or longer. Climate variability is defined as a variation in the state of the climate beyond that of individual weather events. The smallest explanation for climate change and variability are: today morning you got up at around 6 o'clock. Then presume that you have completed all your studies and breakfast by say 7 a.m. At 6 o'clock the temperature may have been 20.1, humidity may have been 85%. By 7 o'clock the temperature may have risen to 20.9 and humidity may have reduced to 80 from 85. This is the change. This we call it as the change in the weather. So, climate change means when these changes are taken for a larger area and longer period, then we call it as the climate change. In other words, weather is defined as a state or condition of the atmosphere at a particular place and at a given instant of time. In your classroom, at an instant of time, today, right now, when the class is going on. Yes, when you sum it up or generalize it for a larger area and longer period, then we call it as the climate. So, when weather is changing, climate is changing. Now, let us go to climate variability explanation. Yesterday, 6 o'clock may not have been like 20.1 today. Even though it is 20.5, for instance, day before yesterday at 6 o'clock it may not have been 20.1 degrees centigrade by the time you got up at 6 a.m. It may have been 20 or it may have been 20.2 or 19.9. Okay. Now, there is a variation. Today, yesterday, day before. Certainly, there may be a variation tomorrow. So, when there is weather variation, On the same analogy like climate change, climate variability also occurs, variations between the months, among the months, between the seasons, among the seasons, between the years, among the years, there is a variation. So, climate change differs a lot from climate variability. Once again, let us see. The definition of climate change is a change in the state of the climate that persists for a decade or longer, whereas climate variability is defined as a variation in the state of the climate beyond that of individual weather events. Okay, good. Now, so let us go into a very interesting topic, or you can say you will be very interesting to learn on this particular subtopic, that is global processes, causes and effects of climate change. Good. Now, what are the global processes? The population of India before independence is around 35 crores. Now, 135 crores in the year 2020. Now, the human activities also have changed from pre-independence to post-independence today. So, when human population is increasing, the human activities are causing changes in the land use. In other words, land use change. What for land use change? Urbanization, deforestation, land conversion to agriculture, increase in impermeable surface. So, human activities are causing land use change. Human activities are also causing fossil fuel burning. What are the fossil fuel burning areas? Number 1 is industry. Number 2 is energy production. Number 3 is transportation. Number 4 is agriculture. If you take industry, chemical and cement industries are there. If you take energy production, heating, electricity, power plants are the areas where energy production is taking place. Transport, plane transport in the air, shipping transport over the water, trucking transport over the land, by cars and also by rail. In addition to this, as far as agriculture is concerned, fertilizers and chemicals are also demanding the use of fossil fuels. So, to sum it up, human activities are causing land use change and fossil fuel burning. When human activities are causing land use change and fossil fuel burning, it is resulting in certain climate change processes. Among the innumerable climate change processes, one is enhanced greenhouse effect. Not greenhouse effect, enhanced greenhouse effect. So, what exactly does it mean? Greenhouse effect is very essential for the existence of human beings on the earth. Why? I tell you in the basics 2 class. Up to that point, please understand that greenhouse effect is essential for existence of human beings, animals, crops, etc., etc. However, these 2 processes, what I said a couple of minutes back, land use change, fossil fuel burning, are releasing innumerable gases into the atmosphere. As I said, atmosphere is a colorless, odorless and tasteless physical mixture of gases enveloping the earth on all sides. However, because of the climate change, fossil fuel burning and land use changes, innumerable greenhouse gases, for example carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, nitrous oxide, enhanced water vapor, whatnot, they are all entering into the troposphere. So, that particular enhanced greenhouse effect is resulting in global warming. The average temperature is rising because of the enhanced greenhouse effect. Now, as a result of global warming, what is happening are ice caps are melting, that means sea level is rising, precipitation changes are occurring, cloud cover changes are occurring, ocean circulation changes are occurring, say for example salinity and water temperature of the ocean, Gulf Stream modifications are going on, and most importantly monsoon disturbances are occurring. So, greenhouse effect is causing global warming. As a consequence of global warming, these are all occurring. Once again, I would like to impress upon you, ice caps are melting, that means sea level is rising. Precipitation changes are occurring, cloud cover changes are occurring, ocean circulation and ocean salinity and water temperatures are changing, Gulf Stream modifications are occurring, monsoon disturbances are occurring. Now, because of this climate change, thereby the global warming, the effects of these two on climate change are very, very disastrous. That's what in the beginning I told. One of the major challenges the humankind facing is to provide an equitable standard of living. It is possible when there is no climate change. However, this particular climate change is threatening the human ability for food security. Therefore, I said climate change and variability, understanding climate change and variability are very important, and they have assumed significance as far as agriculture is concerned. Now, coming back to our global warming and global processes causing and the effects of climate change. The effects are categorized into 6. Number 1, environmental refuges. Number 2, biodiversity losses. Number 3, casualties. Number 4, economic losses. Number 5, diseases spread. Number 6, subsistence farming and fishing at stake. These are all the effects of climate change due to greenhouse effect and global warming. Just to explain what is meant by environmental refuges. When droughts, cyclones, floods, tsunami, wildfires are occurring, human beings are forced to leave their native places and settle down in areas which are of not interesting to them. Similarly, animals are getting refuges and they are just either going to newer areas or trying to adjust or adapt to at least some areas where they can survive nearby. This is not really good. So, environmental refugees, not only human beings but also animals. The second one is biodiversity losses. Human being is a social being. Without biodiversity, the existence of human being is very difficult. Human being can live in the society not only for himself but also for the society. If the plants in and around him, if the animals in and around him, the social settings in and around him are affected by climate change, and if only he is able to survive because of his wiseness, then there is no meaning. There should be biodiversity. For example, coastal wetlands are disappearing, coral bleachings are noticed, very valuable fauna and flora are just getting disappearing. So this is not good. So this is another impact of climate change or effect of climate change. The third one is the casualties. Innumerable people, innumerable animals, different crops, different plantations of horticulture, just they are disappearing. This is not good again. The next one is the economic losses. I did not say When environmental refuges is occurring, biodiversity losses are occurring, casualties are occurring, the resultant effect is on economic losses. Again, the fifth one is disease spread, infectious diseases like vector changes, diarrhea, cardiorespiratory diseases, whatnot. New strains are entering because of the climate change, and finally subsistence farming and fishing is at stake, which is resulting in changes of traditional lifestyles, malnutrition, and the coastal wetlands and their disappearing is also caused by climate change. Now, to sum it up, in today's class, we try to understand what is climate change, climate variability, and global processes, causes, and effects of climate change. Thanking you very much. May God bless you.